Peace, peace. What's going on, family? Greetings, greetings. Peace and love, peace and love. What's going on, family? We have a very special guest in the house tonight. Very special guest in the house tonight. Can't wait for this convo. All right. Here we go. Peace, peace.
Salute, brother. Peace. All is well.
Yes, sir. Wellness salute. What's going on, big bro?
Wellness salute. All is well, beloved. All is well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right, great. So I'm going to play my introduction, and then I'm going to introduce you. Going to say a short bio, and we're gonna get it started.
Ashe.
All right. All right. Here we go.
Welcome to DTR 360 Books Podcast. DTR 360 Books are helping to increase reading literacy. We are here to create more doers and less talkers. This is where we execute the knowledge and put it into action. Enjoy this week's episode of the podcast.
Assalamu alaikum, shalom, shalom, hotep, Islam, alafia, peace. What's going on, family? Gratitude, gratitude. We are here another week, another Monday, man. Happy Monday, happy Monday. I'm pretty sure it's sunny, nice weather in Cali. It's definitely sunny, nice weather all the way over here in New York City, man. So I'm just gratified. I'm humbled and honored to sit down and speak with SupaNova Slom here this evening. And so we have, so before we get into that, please, just a couple of housekeeping items, making sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, whatever podcast platform that you're on, make sure that you like and subscribe to our podcast outlet, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to your podcast, make sure that you search DTR 360 Books. All right, so let's get into it. So our guest here tonight, SupaNova Slom, he is a byproduct of many things, from being born and raised vegan to overcoming street life, to being an emerging voice in hip-hop renaissance, to a spiritual guide for his generation, to being the son of world-renowned holistic healer, Miss Queen Afua. Through his journeying, no matter where that led him, SupaNova has come home to his appointed life's purpose and work, where all of his gifts merge into spiritual and nutritional healing and empowerment. He received recognition from the Association from the Study of African Civilization, has spoken internationally, and appeared on numerous media platforms, such as The Jay Leno Show, The Today Show, ABC News, BET, CBS, Breakfast Club, Power 105.1, and many other platforms. Family, without further ado, please help me welcome SupaNova Slom.
Wellness salute, family. Blessings.
Yes, yes.
Blessings to the family. Yes.
Man, awesome, man. Again, man, gratitude, and thank you for coming on. I know your schedule is busy. So this would be a high-level conversation about health, about wellness, about man, healing thyself, about your program, that you man, every and anything that we could touch on to help elevate our family. We are here for it.
Yes.
So first things first, beloved, tell us, what was your upbringing like?
Okay, well, my name is SupaNova Slom, and I am the oldest son of Queen Afua, who is a internationally renowned holistic wellness practitioner and author of many best-selling books, notably Heal Thyself, Health and Longevity, and Sacred Woman. She raised me, my sister, and brother in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, in the 80s during the crack cocaine epidemic. We were all born and raised vegan from her womb. Our birth father, at the time, he was also vegan and on his natural path lifestyle when they married. Unfortunately, in the 80s, after they divorced, and my mother opened up her first center, the Heal Thyself Center, a year after they divorced. My father succumbed to crack cocaine addiction. So she had to raise us alone without his support because he was addicted to the succumbing of that formality. And so, being a child in the 80s, pretty much a food desert, in Brooklyn. So, my mother was really into making sure that we had a vast awareness and consumption from various micronutrients and nutritional dense foods, various fruits and vegetables that she would have to really get us educated on, and herbs and different things so we could really be fortified. Mainly the greens, the green assortment, the chlorophyll assortment. That's how we really got our phytonutrients, our micronutrients, and our nutrient dense vitamins A through K, mainly through the chlorophyllic foods. You see the chlorophyll is what makes the plant green, so you can see what makes the pigmentation of the planet we live on, mainly green, and the spinach, the chard, the alfalfa, the dandelion, the wheatgrass, all of the perry grasses, and the phytonutrients in the seed, like the chlorella and the spirulina, right? So she was really making sure that we had a very universal palate, so we can have as much nutrient-dense foods, and we were not subjected to a lot of the scrutiny that we were being. We looked like every regular child as far as when you look at us. So we didn't look like just because we were vegan, or we were deprived from nutrients, and she made sure that we had the mineral nutrient foods every day so that we not have that appearance. We didn't have that, but it was very challenging because we were transitioning into different schools. She was trying to find the right school. We went to public school at first. I'm fighting every day because my sandwiches are pretty much organic sprout sandwiches,
Right.
saying with some sprouts on the Ezekiel organic bread, and then and then she made her own home based spread on top of that. And so the kids that have the bologna sandwiches, they'll see me and be like, "What are you eating?" And they see the sprouts, and they throw my sandwich down. I have to fight, so pretty much I became a wellness warrior at a younger age. I had to defend myself mainly because of my food choices. And so there was a lot of that going on. And then eventually, we were homeschooled for a short period of time. And then she found a few different cultural schools at the time in Brooklyn that, had with children like myself, my sister, my brother that were into just the culture of our people, and at the time they were called Pan-Africanism, right? They were into the knowledge of self, but they also happened to be young vegan children too. So eventually I found a small community as I got older, but it was very challenging because you see your friends and your family, everybody's eating everything, all American diet, and you want to partake, and when I would try to sneak off and partake, I would get really sick quickly. So it's not like I didn't try. I definitely, like a child, you're curious, you try, you want to be cool with your friends and your family. And then everybody's against my mom. It was really pretty much us and her. And, they thought that she was depriving us because she didn't feed us the junk food, and she didn't, and we didn't eat any meat. We didn't eat any dairy products. So they were really critical of her, but she was very, very focused. She's my first example of what a wellness warrior was and is, as far as someone that stays on the integrity of their health and wellness and would defend it by all costs. You know what I'm saying? Would not compromise a low vibrational lifestyle, body, mind, and spirit. So she's definitely a wellness warrior. She really raised us in that standard. It was very challenging because we were always being pulled in many different directions of influences in the as we were growing. So yeah, I mean, that's a snapshot. There's so much more to cover, but yeah,
Right.
it was very challenging.
Indeed. Yes. Please. Shout out and gratitude to Miss Queen Afua. So in retrospect, how significant was growing up vegan? Because as you said, your friends, it was just so easy to, eat chicken, eat pizza. And as you said, you tried, but that didn't cook with your body.
Right.
But aside from that, how significant was it growing up vegan, growing up no soy, no dairy, so on and so forth?
Well, no, I definitely had soy. That was a
Okay.
time in the '80s where that was, unfortunately at the time, limited information. A lot of the
Oh, that was the thing.
that was the thing. Especially when you were in transition. The fake meat. You know what I'm saying, was something big. The patties and the tofu hot dogs and stuff. So that was, my mother did not want us to be, tofu heads, as she would say. So she would definitely, make sure that we will find protein complements from other ways, for some lentils and the black beans, and the beans and the whole grains that, that could also supplement. So she was not, we definitely had some of that, but that was not what she was really on. She was really into making us have, like I said, a diverse palate based upon whole foods, and making sure that we had a diverse palette of nutrient dense choices, especially for our protein and our growth and development. So I want to really clarify that. Just because it was the main thing in the 80s, the tofu, everybody was not necessarily living on the tofu. And, anything done in moderation is not going to kill you. But, when you actually make your whole lifestyle based upon it, that's pretty much why it became demonized. I don't think, because people sometimes today, I see people that still eat tofu and still do the soy, fermented soy, organic soy, and that's to them. I don't do that, but I don't demonize them either, because, people, it's better than eating a dead, rotten body. So I'm pretty sure that you can get over whatever situation you need to do with some fermented tofu, you know what I'm saying, or some fermented beans, versus a carcass rotting inside your ascending and descending colon. The comparison is so crazy. Oh, tofu, but then you don't say nothing about something rotten in your colon that you want to try to get protein from. So again, I don't really demonize people who do that. But at the time, that was one of the transitional foods, like I said, transition key, that we partaked in. And I don't like, because I was born and raised vegan, it was regular for me, just abundance of fruits and vegetables. My mother was hands-on with having us in the kitchen with her. She was hands-on. She wanted to give us experience, washing the vegetables, teaching us about the different types of benefits that the fruits and vegetables had. So she really wanted us to get excited about, using foods as medicine. And as children, you see the bright colors and finding ways to not just have iceberg lettuce and tomatoes and carrots, right? She wanted us to say, okay, we're not gonna do the iceberg lettuce carrot situation. We're gonna go maybe into some spinach and some chard and some red onions and some avocados. So she was really diverse with her demonstration to us, so she could let us know that it's not limiting, because there were even vegan, vegetarian kids that they kind of stayed in the soy world. They kind of stayed in just the iceberg lettuce and right. But she was like, she opened up a map, and we would when she was homeschooling us for a period of time, she would just show us different cultures that had fruits and vegetables with the same similar micronutrients index we have here that they use there, right? So she'll show us cultures in the Philippines and throughout Asia, into Thailand and China. And she would say, this is some of the foods that they eat over there to maintain their culture. She'll take us to India. She'll take us to parts of Africa. So she would just let us know that, plant-based living, what they call now, right? Vegan plant-based living, using foods as medicine, is a universal thing, and America is one aspect where we live here, right? But as you go into the Caribbean, you go into South America, you explore the world. And she would tell us the more you would read, you can know about this thing, you would always be fed. She wanted us to know the world and have us be world travelers. So we won't necessarily be, you see, in the 80s with the vegan vegetarian thing, it started to be the beginning stages of corporations started to come in. Now, today it's the standard, but even in our community, because health food stores were a big thing, not for the Black community, but just in the Caucasian community, it was a standard, health food stores. So packaging goods was becoming really big in the 80s. And so she wanted us to not go lock into the being vegan or plant-based based on packaging foods. Okay. She wanted us to still understand that if you need to engage with packaged food, you can, but if you're in the world and you're not able to have that which you're accustomed to in the package, you need to know the foods of the land. Like, so if you go to Asia, if you go to India, if you go to Africa, the Caribbean, you need to know that that the Most High is so abundant with fruits and vegetables and whole grains that you're not limited. So that's how she raised us. And I think people miss that, and who follow my mom and understand the history. They, they get caught up in certain things because, see, one thing that's controversial is that, my mother, she met people where they are in their wellness. All right. So she respected Dr. Sebi. She had a different pathway. Right. So she always taught me to respect every healer, especially African or Black healers. So she never, just for the record, she never had any conflict with the beloved ancestor. She just had a different pathway. But she always said that her pathway specifically was to help people in transition, because she knew that a lot of Black people suffered in the transition. They would not know. They'll be so caught up in the processed foods and the dead foods, they wouldn't know how to make the transition. So she would help people through those transitions. And sometimes some people would get certain things. They'd be into certain things, but that wasn't a universal or demonstration she did for everybody, right? So I think that, and I acquired that as a wellness practitioner, is that you have to meet people where they are in their wellness. I meet meat eaters that want to know more information about how to incorporate being plant-based and cutting down on the meat, right? So I'm born and raised it, but I'm not dogmatic. I try to be inviting and informative, and maybe encourage someone where they may be at, to give them tools so they can expand themselves, right? And to me, that's what holistic wellness is about. Holistic wellness is the modality of using body, mind, and spirit tenets for the best version of yourself, right? So, and they work in tandem. So you set up a physical, nutritional protocol for yourself. It affects your consciousness. Your consciousness affects your body. Your body and consciousness affects your spirit. Body's different way of life and how they may demonstrate, even if it varies from mine. In social media now, there's a lot of conflict. It's a lot of cult of personality. So if you don't follow this certain people or the hearsay, you're not the one. And I don't even get into that. Like I said, from the Sabeites, I respect what they are, and if they journey that, and the brothers and sisters that follow somebody else, all roads lead to wellness. If you find something that works for you, I support it. I support you, but you can't demonize me. I'm 45 years, born from the womb with my way of life, with no health disparities. So you can't come and tell me because I eat apples and you don't eat apples, right? You don't eat a certain type of apple that's from Jamaica, right? That your teacher told you to eat, and I eat something else. You can't tell me that I'm damned to hell. Like, I don't have any health disparities. You came into it later than me, so I'm really a best example, longevity-wise, presently, of what it could be in my path. Maybe not your path, right? So I use my story not to say, come and follow me. It's more like, I would encourage you that in the universe of plant-based consciousness and whole foods and wellness, right? I'm a star. I'm an example of that. You could be, in your own way, in your own path, a wellness warrior. You can be someone that is a beacon of health and wellness. And you don't have to demonize somebody because they have a different pathway and a different position in the cosmology than you, right? Like some, like I know you. I've seen. I think you practice Islam, right?
Yes.
Salam, right? So you have a lot of brothers and sisters in the Islamic faith here and abroad that have tenets of plant-based living in the construct of their development. They're not necessarily vegan vegetarians, right?
Well.
Right. They're not necessarily staunch vegan vegetarians, but they have the tenets all in the fabrication and the understanding of how to incorporate the whole foods and how to do it in tandem with their spiritual way of life, right? So to me, that's auspicious. That's beautiful. Like, it may not be how I was raised, right? But I focus on finding the commonalities. Like, what's the commonality of how the Hebrew Israelites do their wellness? What's the commonality of how the brothers and sisters from Islam practice Islam, how they do their thing? What's the commonality of how brothers and sisters who follow Dr. Sebi? That's what I do. I say, what's the commonalities that we can encourage each other while we have our individual paths and callings to be the best version of health and wellness for ourselves. And I've been inspired by my mother. She laid down the framework and that consciousness. That's how I teach. I teach as a continuation of being inclusive, and meeting people where they are in their wellness and coaching them where they may be, right? And then letting them create a pathway for themselves that works for them. Okay, you can bring someone to the situation, but they have to get the enlightenment and alignment in themselves so they can actually connect, form a disciplined daily regimen, and allow that to speak into them based upon their action daily. Because you may start somewhere and you may have to tweak some things, right? So you may, come into the natural lifestyle and you may be on apple and carrots and soy, right? When you first came there, right? Then, after about 6 months in a year in your own development, you say, I've grown from getting the benefit or the connection or the vibe or the transition from the soy, the carrot, and I'm over that. And now I'm moving to these principles. These transitional principles are better for me. I found the bet. Now I'm into sea moss and black seed oil because that, people swear by that, right? Nothing wrong with that, but they may be in that frequency, right? Chlorophyll is my frequency. That's where I came into my personal journey of revelation. Just the science of the chlorophyll. We live on a chlorophyll planet. Chlorophyll is the makeup in the chlorophyll plant is close to the hemoglobin makeup in our own bloodstream, right? And so pretty much it's liquid sun, and we call ourselves sun beings, right? The planet is only water and chlorophyll, right? And so if we're sun beings, right, and the plants get their pigmentation, their melanin, which is green from the sun, and we're sun beings, then respect to sea moss, what would be closer to our makeup? Chlorophyll on the chlorophyll planet. Chlorophyll above and chlorophyll in the sea.
Wow.
I'm talking basic science, not
science, right?
I'm not an argumentative science, not a debate. I'm just looking around. I don't see sea moss trees in every part of the planet. I see chlorophyll on every part of the planet. So above and below.
So brother, are you saying that you don't partake in no sea moss at all?
I partake in it all. Yeah, okay. I'm making a distinction because there are people that are gonna come on here, right, based upon our beloved master teacher, and then say based upon their revelation of coming into it, and if I'm not speaking that language, then I can't not be the right and exact. So I'm making a distinction, right? That the minerals in that, absolutely incredible. I incorporate that, right? But I'm saying the supreme science to how I came into it, right? So that was your supreme portal of minerals, which are great, and I partake too. But that's not what I came into, right? So I'm only sharing my revelation. So your revelation in the mineral kingdom was that, which is powerful minerals. And if you get the benefits of it, why would I argue with you, right? If it shows improves on your endocrine system, your colon function, your skin, right? How you're moving, your body, then I have no problem with that. For me, what works with my colon, ascending and descending colon, my lungs, my skin, my muscle mass is the plant medicine, is the chlorophyll, and all of its derivatives, the perigrasses. See, and let's do the science. A cow in its natural environment is grazing on what?
Grass.
Wheatgrass, alfalfa, dandelion, barley. The perigrasses. And it's how big is it? How many pounds does it weigh when it's grazing?
Thousands, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It can be like the bulls or the oxes, right? But so the cow, a smallest cow, 400 or 500 pounds, grazing on chlorophyll, perigrasses. I'm just giving you an example of nature. Right? It doesn't take anything away from sea moss. I'm just showing you that, right? Showing you that nature.
Right.
And then it has a baby, a cow, and the cow's eating the milk based upon the enzyme breakdown of those grasses, which is feeding that calf to be big in its natural environment, not in this current thing that we have going on in that crazy meat and dairy industry. But I'm saying in this natural habitat, right? So you're seeing how the greens play out in the animal kingdom. Okay? Most of the animals on the planet are herbivores. And then you look at it in some formality, they're grazing and eating in the majority of their diet greens. Right?
Right.
Not sea moss. So I'm showing you science. So I'm not demon. I just want to make a distinction because this is unfortunately, the internet is a great place of awareness, but it's a lot of noise. Right? It's a lot of noise and there's a lot of dogmatism in my way of the highway. and we cannot set up our herbs and minerals that are abundant for all of us to grow as becoming now demigods that we have to worship. No, you use your sea moss with your, olive leaf, with your echinacea, with your wheatgrass, spirulina, right? You find ways to create a matrix
with your
that
salads,
works for you.
with your foods.
That you find you don't start locking these 3, 5, and that's it. You find a way to create. You have a conversation with these herbs and these minerals with your body. It's a conversation. It's an exchange. It's a relationship. And sometimes the relationship may grow out of you, right? You may say, okay, I was using this plant medicine for some time and I'm good. Now, now I've been exposed to another area of it. And this is a new conversation. Or you may set up a lifelong conversation. The point of my saying is I had to make the distinction because this is, we're in the noise, right? And so I want to encourage brothers and sisters, be expansive in your research of yourself in the conversation of minerals, plants, fruits, and vegetables, right? It's your personal conversation. All I can do is give you my testimony of what 45 years looks like, right? And you may take some of it. You may not take all of it, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to say you have to do it SupaNova Slom's way. I'm saying Queen Afua was moving on a certain way. She had different health ailments when she was young, life-threatening. She used the plant medicines and the plant way of life and the vegan. She had to become a full disciplined vegan to really overcome her ailments. And she showed and proof for herself. And then my father, before he was succumbed to, life, he was in the same revelation. And I was a creation of those two powerful adults coming together with that conversation of wellness. And they created me. With 45 years, I don't have any health disparities. Wow. Right? So I think I should be more of an inspiration for you new brothers and sisters coming on it instead of banging on somebody because they may have a different route than your master teacher, right? No, like I respect all master teachers. I respect all brothers and sisters that are doing some form of wellness and encouraging us, right? But there are many roads to holistic wellness and there are many roads to nutrition and plant-based living. We have a whole planet and different cultures do different things, right? Different cultures, have a different conversation. And I just want to encourage brothers and sisters to explore that, explore what works for you. Have a starting point, right? Get disciplined, right? But then open yourself up so as you start to travel in the world and start to interact with different cultures and traditions and ethnicities from a plant-based, mineral, nutritional perspective, you can learn so much more, right? Because like even the brothers and sisters who live in the islands, right? They have a different type of unique deposition. They're literally on an island with the sun in the abundance of the plant. They have the sea right there. So you see the sea mosses right there. A lot of them
they
right
have
there.
Coconut tree, mango trees.
So they have a different. They have
papaya.
They have so much right there that maybe brothers and sisters who live in New York City, because we have a strong African and Caribbean culture family here, along with the foundation of Black Americans. We have like a universal mix of where we can grab things because a lot of things are imported. So, but you have to have a mindset to even know how to work it. Where if you're from the islands, you already, like you said, papaya, sea moss, the coconut,
right there.
Mangoes, everything's right there, right? So it's consciousness. And there's different consciousness. Like when I travel to the South, the brothers and sisters in the South, even plant-based, they have a different type of consciousness. Some of them still own land and still grow from the land. So they may not necessarily use the papaya or coconut frequency, feel me? But they have other fruits and vegetables, like they may use the melon. Like watermelon is a big thing. Not saying it's not in the islands, but it's a huge thing in the South. So they may not be on the mango, papaya, coconut frequency, right? The island is on, but they may be more in, in the berries, in the melon. Then there may be a different conversation for them. So I'm saying is that, organic black seed watermelon. But I'm just showing that, like if you go to the West Coast, if you go to the Midwest, even in this country we live in, there's so many different interpretations and beautiful interpretations of how brothers and sisters demonstrate wellness for themselves. From our ilk of our people to even other neighboring communities and other ethnicities. And I think it would do us a disservice not to just make a deeper commitment to our personal journey and then be open to learn. Even if you don't necessarily convert to somebody else's practice, do observe, ask questions, observe and see how it shows up for them, how it shows up for their children. You know what I'm saying? How they raising it, how were they raised? How they were able to overcome, you know, any health disparities by having certain disciplines in their lives, you know? And I think that, to me, those are the commonalities, like I said, the connectivities that we can take away from each other. Instead of always attacking, set tripping, and demonizing someone, we can learn so much more, you know? And so I use my story as being born and raised vegan and some of the things that I faced, difficulties and the challenges, to encourage brothers and sisters that if I can go through what I had to go through, you know, at day one, everything against me, you know, so, you know, I'm totally the oddball out of the black sheep, then you can be encouraged where you may be in your life to make a better change for yourself with your health and wellness.
Right, right. Wow, man. Indeed. That was, whew, that was deep, man. That was deep. So now I want to go back to chlorophyll real quick.
Yes.
You mentioned chlorophyll. So real quick. So for the people who don't know, where can one get chlorophyll?
Okay, well, like I said, chlorophyll chlorophyll is a world. So you can get the liquid chlorophyll, right? You can Nature's Way is the one I would recommend. You can get that from Vitamin Shop. You can get that from Whole Foods. You know, so you can get the liquid chlorophyll. But chlorophyll, they pretty much extract it. It's an extract. You know, you can add to your water and have that. So it's really good for odorizing the body. If you have any, you know, for people who just, you know, sweat a lot and want to find a natural deodorant for the body, that chlorophyll is good for that. So it's also good for your, you know, for your oral health, you know, keeping your body in that space. It's good for the, like I said, it's also bloodstream cleanser and fortifier. But that's one aspect of it. So chlorophyll is almost like a mothership that has different branches, right? So chlorophyll also shows up in the nutrient dense spinach. Spinach is high in iron, okay, yeah. and also kale. Protein, kale as well, right? So that's another one. People say, like, I love kale. Some people say, oh,
me
no,
too. Me too.
They go into the whole kale thing. It's not good for you based upon somebody said. So I just say, I don't argue. If you don't want to have kale, just don't have it, family. Have spinach. Have chard, right? have parsley. Have, you know, parsley, there's so many other ones we can take that are chlorophyll, right? That you don't. So don't limit yourself. You know, if somebody says something, you don't feel triggered that you have to now come and be the National Guard of their life. You could just say, okay, you know, this is what I do, right? But so those are examples: the kale, the spinach, the chard. And those are the vegetables, right? And you know, avocado for the most part is you know, it has chlorophyll in its presentation along with other benefits. You know, you can look at that as being one of the relatives, even though it's not necessarily dense chlorophyll. Green apples could be an example of that. You know, so anywhere that you see that green hue is a presence from a small trace to a large trace, right? You look around in the plant life, you know, that balance between, you know, the atmosphere and the oxygen we breathe in, all of that balance of the trees and having the chlorophyll, right? That green helps to balance things. So when you start to observe nature and see how it works, and then, you know, our ancestors did a lot of correlation with nature and ourselves in nature, right? And so the more you internalize the green, you're on a green planet, right? You're more in tune with the planet you live on. And the water, we live on a water planet. The planet is mainly water, right? Yes. With green as a complement. And then we are mainly water, right? Yes. So
majority.
So right. So if there are two, I'm not limiting, I'm just saying two elements that I would encourage people to explore more of is water and chlorophyll, because of the planet you live on. You know what I'm saying? And the more you can explore that and incorporate its many derivatives of the greens, right? Because you have micronutrients. That's the science I sit in with the chlorophyll. The micronutrients, those are the nutrient dense ones. Okay, so we're not just talking about how it shows up in the manifestation of kale and spinach and chard, right? We're talking about in the sea, the phytonutrients like the spirulina and the chlorella. Okay, very high for those that are talking about, you know, a lot of people, oh, you're vegan or plant-based, how you can get your protein? Well, those are the two powerful plantings, you know, algae that will give you that bang for that growth and development, as far as if you're trying to really increase, you know, the amino acid complex and the protein growth. You can use those in tandem with other micronutrients, but the spirulina and the wheatgrass come from spirulina and the chlorella come from the sea. So most of the big animals, well, all of the animals in the sea, all of them, even some of the ones who eat meat, who don't eat each other, right? All of them eat that's how they all grow. Besides eating each other, the ones who don't eat each other, they eat that algae. They eat that, they eat that nutrient dense planting, which is the spirulina and the chlorella. And then on the land, like I mentioned earlier about the example about the ox, the bull, and the cow, and when they're in the natural environment, right, they will be grazing in the micronutrient perigrasses, which would be the like I said, the alfalfa, the dandelion, the wheatgrass. These are they're called perigrasses. And so for me, when I start to understand, bigness, growth, and development, me, I'm 208 pounds muscle mass, ripped. And most of what I eat is micronutrients, my diet. Water, making sure that I have enough, water daily, a nutrient-dense chlorophyll exchange, which, I have a product called the SupaNova Greens, which is exactly that. It's actually the best of the land and sea of the chlorophyll micronutrients. Okay, I wanted a product that was not a filler product, because there are a lot of green products out, beautiful products, but they are fillers. Filler means they're more than 10 ingredients, right? So you have a lot of dope packaged green products on the market, and they be having 10, 20, 30 ingredients, beautiful ingredients, right? But the more ingredients you have, the less concentrated the blend is going to be, right? So you got a superstar list of a powerful alignment, that is in a lot of these packaging, but it's not a nutrient dense product. So for me, specifically with my product, SupaNova Greens, I wanted to have something that was specifically will be concentrated enough to really help to detox the metals in my body. You're breathing this stuff every day, so the chlorophyll works as that, especially when it's combined like that. It helps to get the metals out of the blood, build the blood up, right? It's a blood builder. So it's detoxifying you and it's building you up. That's the science of the chlorophyll. So now look at the science. So you get a chlorophyll situation with the mega greens, and then you add your sea moss, your black seed. You feel me? You start adding now.
Right.
Come on. You see, that's I'm the add-on. I'm the one
that is optimal wealth. Wealth and health.
It's optimal, but you said the key word, beloved. Optimal. So once you get a conversation, you master your water, master your chlorophyll. Give me some of that. Like I told you, I love the sea moss. Give me that. Add me that sea moss. What else?
They are stronger together.
Right.
They are stronger
somebody
together.
Says, "Oh, ashwagandha, maca." Yeah. Give me all of the stuff that works, right?
Exactly.
And find a way, discipline daily to create a daily alignment for yourself, that every day you show up to making sure that you meet that nutrient demand for your body, and that will be your paradigm shift. And look, and it may be a little different from each of us, because some people may not rock with this and rock with that, and that's okay, right? The whole point is you use the testimony from somebody, you do your own research, and it's okay. SupaNova said this, okay. My beloved brother said that, okay. Dr. Sabi said this, Queen said that, and then you sit back and say, okay, what's going to work for me, right? And you find the best of what you've heard in your research, and you start to walk slowly and build a conversation for yourself, a confidence for yourself, a revelation for yourself, a discipline for yourself, and that's the supernatural change.
Like you said, beloved, all roads lead to wellness.
So that's where we at. That's why I say
sir.
Wellness Salute. I want to greet everybody and Wellness Salute. I'm not tripping on whatever that. I want us to be well, and however we figure out the best pathway. And I want our children to be well, so we're no longer creating a situation where we're coming together as men and women and having our children have compromised immune systems because of our sedentary lifestyle. We're passing on, a situation where they now accept, you say, oh, diabetes runs in my family, hypertension, obesity. So, the more we can set up a new paradigm, a new shift for how we show up, our children now can say, wellness warriors one in my family, right? Yeah. I don't, my grandmother, she had gout, but she overcame it, what grandma do? Or my uncle does, he had a heart attack, but now, he's on a master cleanse. He's doing something that's going to help get him on a well, right? So these are the type of things that I want to become the norm. Prayerfully, I see in my lifetime, but I would like to be a voice to set the foundation for this generation, so that the next generations can now create a new conversation with themselves, with their health and wellness.
Man, big bro, I want to touch on so many things, man. I just hope that we have the amount of time
Yeah.
within this podcast space to discuss a plethora of items. You touched on one thing that I want you to elaborate on, if you can, beloved. That we pass on illnesses to our offsprings, right? Diabetes, high blood pressure, so on and so forth. If you can elaborate on that. And if we can pass on illnesses, can we pass on health, wellness, prosperity, sustainability, so on and so forth?
Well, yeah. Well, yes, absolutely. Right. So my parents, at the state they were in, you know, they were in a harmonious state in their own personal lives. They were on their intention. They were on their wellness journey and their conscious journey. And because they were on their individual pathway, the magnets of them making a commitment to themselves attracted each other. They were complements. So here this woman was doing her self-healing. Here this man was living a wellness life, and then they magnetized to each other. And that magnetizing to each other, you know, their first offspring or first creation from them coming together was me. That
Wow.
was an antithesis to everybody in their bloodline.
Wow.
Right. So I was the first experiment from them to coming. What did it look like with two black people, or African, whatever you want to call us, indigenous, right? And America in the 70s coming together in the 70s. You know, no, they were not. Well, my mother couldn't be on dairy. You know, she was extreme asthmatic, so she used the vegan plant-based lifestyle to overcome her disparity with the asthma.
Yes.
She made a correlation between the dairy products, the plant, you know, the meat and stuff, to how she was functioning her lungs. And when she cut that out, her life changed, right? So she already started to move on a direction of reclaiming the autonomy of her body by making a wellness life choice change for herself. And my father did the same for himself. So they came together, right, already on their own paths.
Yes, sir.
And they happen to magnetize. So I'm an example of what it could look like in 2022 for the brothers and sisters tuning in. You know, if right now, if you make a commitment to yourself and you begin to, as my wife says, vibrate higher daily, shout out to Lady Delia. If you begin to do your vibrational work and you begin to do your healing work and begin to, you know, really strengthen your body, mind, and spirit on all levels, right? Then, and you do it long enough, and with the focus, commitment to yourself, things you'll get challenged, because there are things that have been normalized around you, even in you, that are not necessarily ready for you to shift. But if you keep going and you keep, you know, being a warrior of your wellness, like really fighting for your decision and your choice to be it's a fight. It's not easy, right? Then in the midst of you fighting for the better quality of life, you know, you will attract people and places and things that will become a complement to the fight that you are taking for yourself, right?
Wow.
And so, and then that attraction, those interactions, we shift past asthma, diabetes, hypertension, because when you begin to explore, like you know, you've been a devout Muslim, you know, when y'all do the fast, right? When y'all go through your
Yeah, for
fast and
Ramadan.
practice Ramadan, right? I'm pretty sure not only spiritually you're charged, but physically and spiritually and mentally, right? It's a whole
Yeah.
thing. So
Yep. It's
imagine all of
holistic.
those amazing, incredible Muslim children that will be birthed, you know, in the post Ramadan modality. Like when, you know, you have a powerful Muslim brother and a Muslim wife going through their cleansing, they don't have no kids, and they really, you know, do their prayer 5 times a day. They make healthy life choices. They fast together, right? They really work out together. What type of children do they create? You know, shout out to
Right.
my beloved Minister Farrakhan. He talked about birthing the God or birthing the goddess,
Right.
right? And so
Powerful speech.
and so, you know, the more we begin to infuse into ourselves, we can become transformative as individuals, as collective, and definitely as ones that are continuing generations. And for those of us who are putting their hands up to wellness and you're not having children, just your work in the world, by you being a better committed human being for yourself and really taking the sacred time to pour into yourself daily, the work you create you know, the channel you create, you know, the things that you are interacting with, the children in your creativity benefit humanity ultimately. So it's all, you know, everything that we do for ourselves and ourselves will show up.
Powerful, powerful. So I see there's a lot of women on this live, and I know you soak up a lot of knowledge, wisdom, and information from your beloved mother, Miss Queen Afua. So many women don't know who they are, as well as men. But this question is particularly for women, specifically for African Black women. They don't know that they're the mother of civilization. Can you elaborate on that for us? What does being the mother of civilization mean?
Well, for me, being a product of the mother of
Exactly.
civilization, that's what we, me and you are. Me and you are the powerful products of the mother of civilization. It means to me to be the seat of responsibility, the sacred seat, you know, because that means you're the mother of humanity, you're mother of creation. You know, the Most High moves through you as a living example. And so, you know, sometimes our beloved mother, right, may forget who she may be. But we, as the children of our mother, we have to be the holistic reminders to her, especially men. This is why I've been blessed and knighted by my mother to create the online rites of passage movement called Man Heal Thyself. Because the more we can get men healing himself and men taking responsibility to restore himself, that activity of men owning up whatever defects, not becoming beta complainers, not blaming women, just saying, you know what, I have the power and autonomy to correct, self-correct for the betterment of myself. We can make that the revolution, that man raises his hand to his healing, then the mother remembers her seat of power. Because the mother has been doing so much to pour into her sons and the men that she has been tired. She has sometimes forgot who she is because she's trying to make sure that he's right. She's trying to love on him. She's trying to pour into him. She's trying to remind him. And it has taken her off of her seat of power. Right? And we've been poured into by our women, and look what we do. We gang bang, we set trip, cult of personality, we always finding contention with each other, we always beefing, right? You know, I'm Hebrew Israelite, or I'm Kemetic, or I'm practice Islam. Right. And then when you go deeper, even in each of those, hey, well, I'm this type of Kemite, I'm this type of, I'm Sunni, I'm Sunni Muslim, I'm FOI, right? So it just shows, look what we did with our, as the product of the mother. What have we done as men? Again, see, that's powerful, that we can be men. We are the product of the sacred mother. That's another type of formation, to be a man fashioned from the original woman. As the example, all men, all tribes. So to me, it's man's responsibility to correct man to be the better version of man, so woman can remember who she is, and then the game changes.
Powerful. So speaking of your it's an online program, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It's a 12-week. Man Heal Thyself. It's inspired by the newly revised edition. Me and my mother co-wrote this book. 10 years ago, there was an old edition, but this is the new revised edition that the rites of passage is based upon, this version. And this version specifically is called The Wellness Warrior's Journey to Self-Mastery. See, men just need the tools. A lot of men have been understanding that they have to begin to shift. And they just need the tools to do so, right? So we provide 2 times a year, myself and the program director, Hallelujah Walcott. We're here on Instagram as the Man Heal Thyself program on IG. And so twice a year, we will go, next 2 weeks, we start the spring semester, the spring summer semester, and then fall winter semester comes after that. And it's a 12-week online training. We have brothers from all around the world, you know, come on to Zoom twice a week, and every 7 days we lay out a paradigm holistic wellness regimen for him to become alchemated to begin to shift his life. Okay, so we give brothers, some really deep homework assignments to really shift his consciousness, engage his spirit, and have him, really get inside of understanding the minerals, the herbs, the plant medicines, and all of them working together every 7 days. He's giving a new assignment, and then he comes together to his brothers, and we seed the report. So he must now respond to his brothers on his wellness checklist, what he did and what he didn't do, what's to sustain and what's to improve. We find that men naturally are competitive, so just coming to your brothers and reporting, doing your work, it's transformative to see all these powerful men from different religious backgrounds, spiritual backgrounds, different parts of socioeconomic levels, right? Coming together, all shades, mainly our ilk, but also it could be a few other brothers from some time to come will visit the formation, and doing this work together and keeping each other. Man's power is accountability. And men, that's how we thrive. We do it through sports. We do it through music. Right. We do it through Islam or a religious discipline, right? So this is the first holistic wellness fraternity, I'll call it, for men, because there's a lot of fraternities. But this is specifically, it's not, you can be whoever you want to be in the world, but you're a man. And we want to invite you to come and do the man healing work, because we understand that the little boy still needs to be encouraged in you. That little 7-year-old, 10-year-old, 5-year-old, who probably been molested, raped, or left and not had no attention from his mother or father, right? He's still somewhere in your tissues, in your memory, in your consciousness, in your bones, and you may need to do some deep transformative work on that. But because men, we're not taught to pour into ourselves. We're taught to be providers for our family and our work in the world. We're not taught to provide for ourselves. So through the 12-week rites of passage, we teach our brothers how to show up for himself first, to be a better husband, a better friend, a better man, so you can be better in your work in the world. A lot of men are breaking down because they don't have those tools. A lot of men are breaking down because they're always showing up for everybody else, and they don't take the time to take what we call a spiritual bath. Take a soak. Put the Epsom salt inside the bath, run the water, and just sit. Sit, man, 30, 40 minutes, relax your mind. Oh, that's a feminine. You've been trained negatively. Women just do that. See, that's why women live longer, because women, you go look on the internet, beloved. Women from all ways of life, they always find time
for themselves.
Multiple children, multiple jobs. Women find time to do a rites of passage, a sister circle, a pampering, pouring into themselves. So they live longer. Men, we say, they ain't got no time for that. That's why we don't got no time for that. That's why we out here. That's why when heart attack come, we going. We don't have no time for that. So time don't got no time for us. So we must be father. That's why it's called father time. So we can move further through time. We have to teach our brothers what is necessary to be powerful fathers of time. You must do things that empower your time. You must nurture yourself. You must change different habits. You must do the healing and emotional work. So this is what the main tenet and principle is in Man Heal Thyself training. And so brothers can sign up. You can go to the Queen Afua Wellness Institute. We've partnered with my mother's school. So queenafua.com, QUEENAFUA, queenafua.com, link in my bio. You can go to the Man Heal Thyself program page here on IG, link in the bio, or manhealthyselfprogram.com. We want all brothers 18 years and older to join us, for 12 weeks. Make time for yourself so you can continue to be better husbands, better fathers, better men, just in whatever you're doing. We just want you to be better for yourself first, so you can be better for others. And that's what my life works is. And and so when I joined my mother in the rewrite of this, because the old version was pretty much a nice snapshot on what my mother's vision was for the men of healing, because doing so much women's work, she was called to duty. But really, me and my brother were the ghostwriters, because she would come to us every day to help her put that book together. But she put it out. But 10 years later, she said, when she wanted me to, during the pandemic, she said the call for brothers, healing is surmountable. You know, you have to be called to duty. And so me and my cousin, Hallelujah, the program director, got together. We started to do the you know, just initial teaching for the brothers and healing, and just showing, because, you know, he, like myself, was born and raised vegan himself, and he was raised. So together, you know, we found a way to come together, just to, everything we've learned, we want to pour back into the brothers. And so the book came up out of us doing the healing, and then I realized, after doing the healing cycles with the men, I had to address deeper things and have a deeper programming. So this is why this book is important. Even if you can't join right now, you get the book and take yourself through the steps. And when you have the strength to want to join the brotherhood and the fraternity of holistic health, then you come deeper, because we're talking about social emotional healing. We're talking about spiritual opening, right? So if you practice in Islam, we want you to be the best practitioner of Islam you can be. If you are a steward of, you know, of your shalom, brother, we want you to be the best Hebrew shalom brother you can be. You know, I'm a Kemite, right? I work on being the best I can be. Because I'm a Kemite, I love my Muslim brothers. I love my Hebrew. I have no choice. You know, I'm the big homie. Kevin's big homie. So I have love for it. I love it. I love my Christian brothers. See, I was not raised on the set trip. I was not raised on the Willie Lynch. I was raised to, wherever my people are, where can I find where we can work together to be the best versions of ourselves? So if I gotta come pray 5 times a day with you, let's go do it. Let's make that 5 times a day the most best thing. If I gotta open up the, you know, the passage in the Bible and open up some Psalms with you and get you going, let's go do that, right? Whatever we gotta do to get us hyped, excited to our wellness and for our unity, let's do it. And that's what Man Heal Thyself is demonstrating, is saying, let's bring the best of all the tribes, all the religious faiths. Let's bring all the powerful men together, and let's all go back to 5-year-old self, 10-year-old self, 15-year-old self, 20-year-old self, and let's embrace that version of ourselves for healing. Let's heal him up. You know, if as a grown man, if you could talk to your 10-year-old self, what would you tell him? How would you prepare him for now? That type, you know, that deeper stuff that you can't get on the algorithm, you can't get on cutting and pasting and motivational speeches. Like, you got to really do this work. And Man Heal Thyself, this 12-week Rite of Passage, it's work. It's for the working man. It ain't for no regular man. See, I'm calling the working man. This is called Alpha Apex Living. I only deal with the Alpha Apexes, right? If you a beta man, a beta complaining man, I invite you so we can convert you to an Alpha Apex man, right? And get you from that toxic alpha to a powerful God alpha. See, because it's not about dominating other men. It's about having brothers work together. See, because we know the dominating alpha man don't really have been working for nobody. He ain't been working for nobody. You know, all these wars, all these banging we doing, everybody's still sick. So how can we encourage the alphas to work together as they're working on themselves? Each one teach one, each one reach one. That's the modality. And that's Man Heal Thyself. That's the whole point. It's like, okay, we're going to bring all the alphas together. We're not in competition with each other. We're saying this is our collective assignment. Everybody go do the work on themselves. Let's report back together as men, hold us accountable to the goals that we're setting together as a collective manhood, and let's begin the transformative work. And you start to see that the home would change, the frequency of how you show up would transform and change. And that's the work that we're here to do and continue to do. And I invite you sisters who have men that you care about, that you love, you know, make sure you click the link in my bio, bring him to the Man Heal Thyself training. We're here to support him on the 12 weeks. It's a powerful 12-week protocol. And it's a beginning training. I call it the basic training of holistic wellness, because once you graduate or ascend from the 12 weeks, now you go into life's deployment as a new version of yourself that you must be accountable for, and you must be a warrior willing to fight for a better quality of your life. Let me read this to you, brother, and I'll pass however you want to close it or whatever you want to do.
Yes, sir.
This is what we, just so you can have context, in the book on page 35 and 36 of the Man Heal Thyself text, we have the Wellness Warriors Oath and Creed. So just so you can really understand the type of consciousness that we're raising these men on, and we're pouring into these brothers at the high level. This is the type of brothers that we are training so they can be better brothers in wherever they are at in the world, right? So this is the Wellness Warriors Oath. And this Oath and Creed is also universal for sisters that we acknowledge as Wellness Warriors on their path too, okay? This is specifically the Wellness Warriors Oath. As a wellness warrior, each day I pledge to honor my health and wellness of my mind, body, and spirit with high vibrational awareness, choices, and interactions, whether within or outside of myself. I make a deep commitment to my commitment 24/7 and 365 days of the year to defend myself against all enemies inside me or outside of me, such as viruses, people, places, or things. I make a deep commitment to my commitment 24/7, 365 to purge myself from toxic thoughts, toxic habits, and blockages. I protect myself against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Because I'm committed to my personal development, my transfiguration is daily. Every day is a new gift, a new opportunity, a new chance for a greater quality of life, for optimum wellness through self-mastery. This I affirm daily. That was the Wellness Warrior's oath. Now that you have an oath, this is the creed we live by. Because I'm a wellness warrior, no matter where I'm deployed in my life, I will honor my wellness. As a man, heal thyself, wellness warrior, no matter my job description, no matter where I find myself on this planet, I make no excuses for honoring my wellness. No matter the demands or chaos of life, my well-being is a priority. I will not compromise the opportunity to build and to obtain a greater quality of life for self-mastery. No excuse wellness is my creed. This I affirm daily. So that's the spirit that we have in formation when we bring these brothers in. Pour into you daily. Nothing works unless you work. Those are one of our charges we give our brothers. Hold them accountable. Did you hydrate today? Did you take your water? Did you do the internal libation today? Did you do your spiritual observances? Did you make your salat? Did you do your 5 times? Or did you read your your original did you read Genesis today? Or did you do your Kemetic observances, right? Whatever that is, set up your discipline. Did you take your herbs? Did you do your exercise today? Right? Did you massage yourself? Did you take your spiritual bath?
Yeah.
This is, so we have to train the brothers into this being the norm, is to do the nurturing, sustainable work. We want men to nurture themselves so they can continue to endure through life more powerfully, because life is going to get harder on us. So we have to have the internal fortitude and the internal strength, body, mind, spirit, so we can better navigate the complexities, the chaos, or the uncertainties of life. It don't matter what's coming down the road. If we are walking with that God power activated and we're doing that daily work, let come what may, we're ready for any engagement. And that's what we are really setting in the culture of the Wellness Warriors with these brothers. And we really want more brothers to know about the powerful formation we have here, and so they can go back into their brotherhoods and their fraternities with tools to better bring back a culture. My prayer before I leave my body is that we have millions of men around the world healing. Millions of men, regardless of their ethnicity, their racial background, or their creed, or their spiritual path or socioeconomic path. They raise their hand at wellness. And they say, I would nurture myself as a man. It becomes now part of their life. I'm a man. And now we teach our brothers, it's okay to take your sons are saying, Dad, I'm going to take my spiritual bath. I'm going to do my prayer time today. Can I pray with you, Dad? I want to take my herbal teas. Man is man's responsibility. And we as man must rebrand man. When women say toxic masculinity, negative alpha, I don't get offended. I say, you can call me all names, but God is the first. So I have the ability to create the life where I want it to be.
Right.
And so we're not going to, as men, we're not going to get beta in the comments and argue with women because they're calling us names. We say, let's take action by showing up and showing the women what a renewed man looks like, what a healed alpha man looks like. We don't have to be yelling and screaming in the comments and calling her name back. Let's continue to build amongst ourselves and for ourselves. And then one by one, 2 by 2, we start to rebrand the spirit of man.
Cool. So we're winding down real quick. are you able to take a few questions? Because I seen some questions, but I wasn't able
Brother, I'm here. Whatever
to
you
get
need,
it.
I'll
All
share.
right, great. So family, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section below so that we can have a list of questions and we can take a couple from that list. So if you have any questions for Brother SupaNova Slom, please drop them in the question comment below. Brother, two more comments and a question on the online program. So the online program is solely online based, or is it
It's
in person
online.
and on?
We meet in person when it's time for graduation. We meet and we prep, and then we celebrate together. So we come digitally, we greet each other, get to know each other, and then we prepare for our graduation. It can be, we West Coast, be East Coast, we don't know until that time is, and then we come in person. We do some physical workout together, we do our spiritual work together, we do our exchange as brothers, and then we do our celebration together to celebrate us graduating our time together. So if you see any pictures online, that's us coming together once the brothers have went through the training. And we want to do like that because we've had brothers in past formations from Paris, from the UK, Africa, India, brothers from India, brothers from Caribbean, brothers from here, brothers from Canada, like Australia. We have brothers from all over the globe. So this is why we wanted to make it an online training, because it allows brothers not only domestically, but all brothers from all over to participate, right? And then the ones who can actually show up when it's time for graduation, we come together. But what it does is it builds a universal brotherhood, right, in real time, when you can do it like that. Because now you have brothers in Paris connecting with brothers in Compton, brothers in Compton with brothers in Atlanta, right? And so that just forms that bond and wellness. And now they take that brotherhood of healing back into their communities where they may be, and then they bring, prayerfully, they tell more brothers to come through, right? And we just continue to build that energy, and utilize this equity that we have online. I think we definitely have the ability to physically be here, but we have to really continue to build this equity we have online with our digital online community that expands around the globe as much as possible. And then we get that discipline in, then we can find ways to fellowship in person as well. So yes.
So now I'm looking online now, manhealthyself.queenafua.com. So if there's any brother that's interested, definitely go on this website. I have a question real quick. So I see that the first week is the family man of unity and wealth. Why is that the first thing that men should learn about?
Well, that's the foundation of why he's a man. The concept, whether he has marriage or he has children, is you have to be a provider for yourself and others, right? So that's a tenet. You come from a family. You are because of your family. You're a culmination of what family, broken or unbroken, right? You are the example of what that was on some timeline. So we use that first 7 days to begin to address a lot of the issues that men have. Start there. It starts with what they had or didn't have enough of, or I'm a man and I'm a family man, and me and my wife divorced, and this is some of the things I'm dealing with. Raising my children, being a co-parent, or a man that says, well, I have many kids. I just been having seeds all over the place, right? So it all starts in that family portal, right? And we get to really chop it up and meet brothers into beginning to heal what that may be. What is the vision from a family man would be for you, right? Whether you're a father, whether you are an elder brother that is responsible for sisters and brothers, right? So there's so many different aspects to what family, how it shows up, and it all starts with family. It all starts extended family, blood family, right? It starts with the family. So that's the foundation of the training. We start the first 7 days building out those tenets.
Love it, love it. Now let's switch gears a bit and let's talk on relationships. Now, can a relationship work if, let's say, the woman is healed, healthy, but the man is not so healthy? Can that relationship work?
Eventually, it may start out like that because, listen, a lot of times men are attracted to women that are in their light. So when a woman is doing her self-work, she looks attractive, she's brother, something about you, sister. I can't, right? He don't even know how the information, the words or nothing. He's like, man, something about you, because she's probably doing some form of self-care. So anybody taking care of themselves is attractive, right? Men and women, So if you take care of yourself, your signal's stronger, your light is brighter, everything's brighter. So the man, you know, he's attracted to that woman. Now, he may not necessarily be doing his attractive work for himself,
Right.
but he's attracted to her. Somewhere in that interaction, a lot of times women may, you know, this happens more for women than men. She sees the potential in us, right? That means women are more intuitive, so they can kind of read us. And when she allows that man to court her, right, she may already know that he's not on the level she's at. She
Right.
may see something in him. If he's willing, she may see something in him that she can inspire him to awaken to be a great complementary mate. So a woman is always observing us. They watch how we walk. I mean, if you're a husband, you know your woman's watching everything you do. You know what I'm saying? Women in the street, they're watching, you know, how you walk, how you talk, how you dress. We're always being observed, right? But if a man is attracted to a woman doing her work, what happens, you know, men are very influential, you know, and women, you know, the father, again, the family man, the fatherhood principle comes out. So if he's an alpha man, right, and he ain't on his dean, but he got his queen doing her care, eventually what's going to happen is he's going to pull her into the gravity of his sedentary, non-productive lifestyle, because he's going to start leading the signal of the relationship, especially if he's an alpha man. If he's a beta male, a lot of times he may just do stuff to appease her, but he may not be like, so basically a beta male would do, he would mirror her, but he won't really be doing the inner work, right? He'll mirror her enough to keep her, right? But he ain't really necessarily doing no correction. An alpha is either going to do it or he ain't going to do it, right? That's the difference. Because see, an alpha means just alpha in principle means leadership, right? So it's one that takes lead. So you know, we get this term convoluted in the digital space. It just means leadership, right? And so an alpha man means one that is taking lead. It's leading the signal, right? And there
what
could be an
would
alpha
beta
woman
male
too.
be?
Well, yeah. My mother's an alpha woman. She's leading. She has become leader. Now, not everybody is built to lead, right? So some people are built to follow, right? So going back to the woman, you know, it's very important that the women stay wellness warriors for the commitment she made for herself, because if she wants to keep the harmony and balance in her life, she must make that her first commitment, which is the commitment to herself and her harmony in her life. The man in her life should be a complement to the commitment she made to herself, right? And then the mirror for him would be, wow, my woman is glowing, she's showing up, she's doing her work. Talk to me more about that. How can I start to do that for myself? He has to want it for himself. And a strong, powerful alpha female will encourage her man to want to look deeper within himself. She's sending him to himself. You know, she's not distracting him from himself. She's actually sending him to himself. So all the wives and the girlfriends that have sent their husbands and their loved ones to the training, those are alpha women. They're sending them men. They said, listen, you're going to go get them tools because I know you're powerful, right? And so the brothers become even more galactic and powerful, because now it's not about the flower that dazzles them. It's like, wait a minute, I too am a plant, God's plant that needs to be watered and nurtured. And now look, me and my wife are God's garden. You see that? So now all that awe and beauty you saw in your woman, we want our men to see it for himself. He has to know that he's sacred. He's beautiful too. Because sometimes he puts so much attention on her, he ain't doing his work. It's all about her, lifting her up, which is a great auspicious attribute. But you have to join her. See, that's the whole thing.
Exactly.
You look at Kemet.
You have to raise up to her level.
Look, you see Ancient Kemet, you always see the phenotypes of our people, masculine and feminine, together. You see them on those walls together to say that they were complements, not a domination, right? She has her channel that needs to be saluted, and man has his, and together we come together, which is the family, right? And which is the continuation of creation. So it's very important for the women I've seen so many women, beloved brother, on the journey that have abandoned their vegan lifestyle. They say, oh, I used to study Dr. Sabi. I used to study Queen Afua. Well, then what happened?
Right.
A lot of times they got these brothers that was still eating fried chicken and still
Oh,
partying
man.
and BSing and Hennessying up, and
Mm.
eventually she, I know Dr. Sabi. Well, no, do you practice the principles that Dr. Sabi teach you? Did you practice what Queen Afua? See,
Right.
see,
Or you just
knowing
know
it,
about it.
that means now that you have moved out of that. If you know it, then you're always going to know it. It means you're going to know it because you're doing it. So I would encourage the sisters who were, women are the first examples of what leadership looks like in healing. We see it. Stay in your alpha signal, women. Stay leading the pathway for healing. Allow us men to be complements to where you at. But we have, as men, we need to establish our own power, our own signal, so we can show up as the best examples we need to be. Because if we don't, we're doing not only ourselves a disservice and not doing our inner work, then we take our women off of her work. And then what happens? We create children that don't want to work.
Mm.
You see that?
So now, so you mentioned alpha male, right? One who is a leader, one who is a provider, so on and so forth, protector. So would you say that the beta male is the opposite? Is a
Yeah,
follower?
a beta male. A beta male is just a man that does not want the responsibility of an alpha, a leader. That's it. See, we just we got when you look at these are tenets, these are principles. So because if we don't watch it, then everybody's emotional charge to it. So I'm beta alpha, right? It's really about a beta male is a man that doesn't want the responsibility. He wants to play around.
Wow. Wow.
That's it. And we know that they don't want to do it. I don't want to do the work. And now listen, there's a lot of alpha looking men that are betas. And see, we get that. That's the thing we get messed up.
Being in disguise.
Because everybody has this image of what an alpha looks like. And so men and women. So we kind of describe someone's tall, dark and handsome, big, built, right? But his whole being may just be beta.
Yeah, his whole makeup.
He had made good genetics, good tone, good swag. See, betas know how to what they say, get down and lay down. They know how to mirror great. They can mirror you, but they're not necessarily masters of the transformation. A beta can mirror because a beta just want to get down. They just want to get down and know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But they're not really trying to lead nobody nowhere. They'll say, "Oh, I ain't your leader." Yeah, I'm not. A lot of hip hop guys do that. I just rap about what's going on in the hood. I ain't trying to be your leader. That's beta. Now, society, because of the pain he endured, thinks he's an alpha. But once you say you don't want to lead someone out of that pain, you're a beta.
Gotcha.
So most of our MCs, I love them. I mean, they dope with their skill, but they beta. Because society has celebrated them to stay in a certain type of way. The wounded man. Pain, my pain. I came up on government keys. My father's a crackhead. Like, I got shot 4 or 5 times. You don't know what I've been through. That's the pain body. Right? But an alpha knows he went through that, ain't trying to be in that no more,
right?
And then trying to help others to get up out of that. That's an alpha saying, listen,
I've
been through that. I went through the jail. I went through the gang. Man, listen, I'm getting money now. I'm having a good life. I'm healthy. I can exercise. That's an alpha.
Wow.
A beta, he's stuck. He stayed in there. Because he got the women to keep him there. Some women keep the men in there. Some women are afraid of an alpha man. They don't want a man to lead. They don't want to lead a man.
They want to be the leader.
Some women, but they're not leading in the direction of growth and development, right? So they lead themselves down the pathway. So they don't really want the man really to do it either. So some sisters ain't writing exact. Now, it's because the title's the woman does not mean they're writing exact. Like you open up the conversation talking about the original woman forgetting that she's the mother of creation, right? So we have amnesia. So the family, that's why I don't do the blame game. We all need to do the healing work. But the women have been leading the signal. Not all women, but women, period, have been leading into that nurturing self-care. They have it in them, right? And so we have a lot to learn from them, and we can create our own cadence and our own frequency with that. But a beta male or a beta woman, remember, it can be male or female, right? Because you have beta women. You have women who don't want to they don't want to lead themselves nowhere. So that would be what? The ratchet ones, the hood ones, right? They don't want to, right?
Unfortunately.
Right. Not saying that, because we have a lot of beauty in the hood. They have a lot of progressive people who just happen to be socioeconomically in the hood, but they're very expansive vibrationally and mentally. They want to right? But you have people who just, I ain't trying to do no wellness. I ain't trying to, right? When they say all that, I ain't trying to,
Yes,
well,
sir.
then you're a beta. So if a woman's telling you she ain't trying to, well, she's a beta. She's not want to lead herself to a better quality of life.
That's a beta female.
She's getting down to lay down, right? She's happy where she's at. And that's it. And so you have beta male and women, beta males and beta females. Just like you have alpha males and alpha females, you know? So again, leadership, taking responsibility. That's really what it means. Alpha, apex, rise above, right? The one that's moving up, upward. I'm taking responsibility. I'm moving from this condition to a higher possibility for myself. I'm not saying that I have not go through the pain, and I'll probably still go through it. I'm saying that I'm doing things every day or daily in my life to bring me a better outcome for myself. That's it. So you're doing some, and everybody's not just because even if you're a master in leadership, you still are learning, right? So we're all still learning ourselves. That's why I said earlier, look at the planet from a plant-based perspective. It's abundance. Right, that's why I said, get your sea moss, get your chlorophyll. Right, don't trip on the minerals because one teacher is talking about it. Explore it. Right, take it what the teacher's telling you. Right, and then open up your consciousness to learn more. And apply more. The abundant consciousness. That would be an example of taking wellness from a leadership perspective. I'm an alpha in wellness because I'm leading myself to a higher outcome. Right.
I have a couple of more questions, beloved. So most of us, who follow you, who follow Queen Afua, we know the term sacred woman, right? Is there anything as a sacred man? And if so, please elaborate.
Well, you can't really have a sacred woman without having a sacred man. A sacred man is a man that is healing himself. When we say man heal thyself, that is an attribute, an action attribute. I am healing. Healing is an attribute, and healing is an ongoing, journey. You'll be healing for the rest of your life, right? So to even take the step to healing, you have activated your sacredness in your sacred portal. Right? So when we say man heal thyself, and when you say I'm making a commitment to the better quality of life, you already in action with viewing yourself as sacred enough to care for you, to pour into you. Self-care, right? It's called the Wellness Warrior's Journey to Self-Mastery. All of that's talking about caring for yourself, right? So you have to treat yourself precious and sacred to even want to do those things for you. So it's getting our men into a new possibility that, yes, brothers, you're beautiful, you're sacred, you're special, because we put all that onto our sisters, our mothers, and our daughters, and our aunties, and the women, right? But we don't really pour into our brothers, and we don't tell them that. It doesn't have to be sexualized. It doesn't have to be, homoerotic to tell your brother, you're beautiful, I care for you, right? It shouldn't have to be that. We should be able to empower our men, wherever they may be, to encourage us to be better men. That's it. That's it. Because, man, we have to, they say man up. It's all about us correcting ourselves and then finding a sacred portal of loving into ourselves and creating that cadence so we can be a complement to the sacred woman doing her sacred work. Because the sacred woman is doing sacred work. And this is why we formed the Man Heal Thyself Wellness Warriors Rites of Passage, so we can begin to explore what does that sacred work look for each and every brother for himself on his journey.
Indeed. I love it because that's basically the sacred masculinity and the divine femininity.
See,
again,
that's it.
Forming that balance.
And which is what? It's Allah. It's God. It's Yahweh. It's Inter. That's it. It's Krishna. It's Christ. It's the Christ consciousness. It's the body of Christ, right? That's what it is. It's the Most High. It's the Supreme. The Supreme Being is when you, me, our wives are saying we are coming home to ourselves.
That's peace.
And we're working to create a sacred space every day in our sacred home that we live in, body, mind, and spirit.
That's peace. So I've heard you say many times, make a commitment to your commitment.
Yeah.
That's a tough phrase, man.
You
Elaborate
know
on
why?
that
Because
for me.
you know why? Because we have to, you commit to something, right?
Right.
Well, all of us, myself, we all have a time when we be hyped, we be
We just
excited
fall
when we
over.
first
Yeah.
start, but life happens, and we kind of, we have to adapt, right? So when I say make a commitment to a commitment, is like in the military they will say double down, right? So you're gonna have. So if you're committed to something, you have to do extra work to make sure that it's really secure and is in place. So I'm committed to my beloved wife, right? But me and her have to be committed to our commitment. Just because we say, I do, we want to be with each other, we have to do the work every day to make sure that we are strengthening our commitment, because life happens in her, life happens in me, and we could easily not be committed, right? So commitment to your commitment for your personal goals of growth and development, it strengthens you. It strengthens your sacred word. It makes you more mindful thoughts, mindful speech, right? That's a form of being committed to your commitment, and you saying, no, some days you a little weaker than others, right? But you saying, you
Yeah.
know what, no matter what happens, I'm committed. Like you said, listen, I made my pilgrimage. I went to did my Mecca and my Hajj, and right, that's a commitment to your commitment, right? And now that you made a commitment, to Islam, your 5 times a day, your observances is how you make a commitment to your commitment.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because I know in your faith you got brothers who they Muslim and they're not doing the work.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
they got the title,
They
they got
doing
the
the total
name.
opposite.
Yeah, they can
And
kind of,
that's
they
not
got the
Islam
jargon
at all.
down. They can kind of say that some of them are beta, right? They can kind of tell you some words and speak a few Arabic things and quote some stuff. But you start getting up on them, you realize they're not even really in activity of what is necessary to really show up, right? To be an exalted Muslim, right? So the information of commitment to your commitment, it's saying I'm locked and loaded from here, they say DMX say from cradle to the grave, from here, there, and everywhere. I'm making a commitment to my commitment. If I'm stronger today, if I'm weaker the next moment, I'm locked into my sacred work. And I'm in sacred service to myself so I can be of service to others. Because nothing works unless I work. That's what I teach the brothers, is that men are taught to be providers. But if you don't provide for yourself, how could you truly provide for somebody else? Right? Because you can get the material things, you can get the money, right? But if you don't necessarily work on creating that inner conversation and that inner commitment, you can never really affirm it outside yourself. So the more that we can strengthen that internal fortitude, the more we can strengthen our relations in all of our relations.
Yes, sir. Oh man. This podcast show has been nothing short of informative, insightful, and just knowledgeable information. Before we go, beloved, I just have to ask, because this is an educational platform. How important is reading and education to you?
It's very important because I feel that we're here to learn. We learn in ourselves. The first thing you must know is know thyself. That's the first, journey that any one of us should really be taking, is to know thyself. And the more I know myself, right, the more I'm excited to know how I show up in people, places, and things. And so reading is very great because you get to go into different consciousnesses that are taking information in a capsule, whether it be science, math, whether it be, storytelling. And you get to really, engage with that consciousness and allow that engagement to birth you to a deeper consciousness and understanding. And even ask questions and question on, and maybe have you now want to create another conversation in the form of a book. And I feel that I love reading. I love reading online. I love reading. Something about holding it in my. I love online reading, but it's something about holding a book in my hand and then going through it, just taking my time and messing the book up, scratching it, and going back and reading it. I've read this book 20 times and going back, and it's like I've read it again. I just love it, you know. So I definitely want to encourage brothers and sisters to continue to read. This is why, see, I love it how you just concluded the whole thing, because that was my whole point with the wellness
Yes.
when I started, was I said that don't limit yourself. You know, even if you're on a journey now and you have a wellness guru that you follow, and I salute that, whoever that is for you. But seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. Keep growing. Keep knowing know that man, woman, know thyself. Where you start may not be where you end up. Like, I started as a product of Queen Afua's from her womb as a vegan child, but I created my own understanding of holistic wellness. You know, in my book, the Holistic Remedy, I created a whole paradigm in my story on how I had to show up and heal my own self, even though I was vegan. How I had to overcome certain type of things that I had to overcome to be a better plant-based vegan, right? I had to do that for myself. Just because Queen Afua was my mother didn't mean that I was out of the targets, you know, the crosshairs. I had to do the inner work. So I had to create my own healing pathway and journey too, even though that was one of my first master teachers, right? So I had to keep growing. And even right now, I'm still growing. I'm still learning and studying others and building with others and getting other understanding. Even if I don't necessarily change my lifestyle to theirs, I love to learn about what other people are experiencing and how they're navigating things, and how can I take some of those tenets and principles into myself. So that's how I look at reading, the same way, in learning and knowledge, you know.
Awesome, awesome. Beloved, we would love to get your books in our inventory. Do you wholesale by any chance?
It's everything right now is directly from Amazon. So, whatever y'all order many as you like, rock out. Because we used to have our center and we had all the inventory. Now we're inventory less, so everything is directly through Amazon for right now. I think over the next year, my mother's working on getting, we're starting to establish another warehouse where we can have that. But for now, all of the book distributors and folks that are coming into the alignment with me, I just encourage them, if they can, find a way to get that to Amazon and get that to the people, and just do what you need to do until we really can facilitate, you know, having it physically here.
Awesome. Because I got the Queen Afua books.
Hey,
I got the Queen Afua books.
That's
you
right.
know,
So now,
and
listen,
I got many more.
The
yes,
brothers
sir.
on Amazon, the Holistic Remedy, we're right there on Amazon, and Man Heal Thyself, the Wellness Warrior's Journey to Self-Mastery. So yeah, please, we're out here, family. We love to build with you, and thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation, interview.
Oh yeah.
And anytime you want to, you know, cipher back up to continue the conversation and build, we'll have alignment, and we'll continue to share.
Definitely, we gotta have a part 2. Quick question.
Yes.
Beloved, do you mentor anyone? Because I know, you know, some people, they may need consultations, they may need advice and so forth. Do you counsel or mentor anyone?
You know, beloved, I used to do that a lot. I don't have the time capacity no more. Your brother's doing, I have a lot going on. So I used to have the time capacity to do mentorships and consultations. I'm not really sure that's going to go right now, because I'm, you know, my full engagement is around the Man Heal Thyself training, and running my plant-based product company called SupaNova Foods. We're here on Instagram for you want to follow. So yeah, that's a full-time job, and I'm also, you know, I do my artistic work. So that's a lot to do. So this is why specifically for the brothers, I invite them into the training, because that's what you know, them 12 weeks, you got me fully engaged. You got me fully there to pour into you, to really get you squared away at the high level. And then what I do sometimes, which I'm working on, my wife is helping me to get back into it, is starting to do my online, what do you call these? Not trainings, but I forgot the name, the proper
webinars,
seminars. Webinars, right? Yeah. I'm gonna figure out over the next few months how to start normalizing more of my holistic wellness webinars, and really just giving more time for brothers and sisters to really just deep dive into the wellness science, and just give them the tools that they need to encourage them. So when I start to figure out what that looks like, I'll let you know, and I'll let the family know that will be available. and we'll just rock and roll. But
Yes, sir.
otherwise, I'm definitely here, you know, as a resource, and I appreciate the wonderful work that you're doing with our family of keeping education and reading at the high signal, because that's our legacy. That's what we've always been as our people, you know. So
Indeed.
thank you for Islam to you, beloved, and for you
Alhamdulillah.
keeping that at the high signal. And Ashe.
Thank you, beloved.
Thank you, beloved.
All right, family. So, beloved, tell the family where they can reach you at real quick before we
Yes,
conclude.
I'm here on Instagram. You can definitely get me here. Please look through the links in my bios. Any men, any brothers, 18 and older, sisters and brothers, we have a 12-week rites of passage, an online training for men coming up in 2 weeks. It's called Man Heal Thyself, the Wellness Warrior 12-week online rites of passage. Okay, it's a powerful online training. No matter where you are in the world, you can join us twice a week on Zoom. We get you squared away. We have a lot of powerful activities for men to begin to heal themselves and pour into themselves and get themselves strong holistically. So if you're very interested in this, please click the link in my bio for the Man Heal Thyself 12-week rites of passage. You can go to queenafua.com. I've partnered with my mother's school because, you know, she has a Sacred Woman portal, so we have the Man Heal Thyself portal. And you can also find us here on Instagram. Besides this, I'm here on Instagram as Man Heal Thyself Program on Instagram. And also you can follow my plant-based wellness company. I talked about earlier about the importance of plant-based foods, chlorophyll foods, micronutrients, super mega greens. We have the super mega protein. We have the super mega immunity for those that really want to navigate this chaos we're going through. Check out our plant-based products at supermegafoods.com. Again, all the links are in my bio. And thank you, beloved brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right, family. Peace. Thank you so much. Please, if you are now tuning in, if you want to listen to the whole podcast interview, subscribe to my YouTube channel, the link in the bio. I leave you as I greet you. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom, shalom. Hotep, Islam, Alafia. Peace.
Peace. Wellness salute.